there, guys and gals. Barbie Figueroa here, and in this video I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you how I take a completely blank black and white website template inside of Go HighLevel and turn it into a fully branded website using one of my brand Swatch Studio kits. I'm going to be using Golden Hour today. I feel like I really want to make a website out of that brand kit. So I'm just going to walk you through the process as I build so you can see how it all comes together. So if you like watching behind the scenes website build outs, if you want to learn a little bit more how to use the HighLevel platform and how to build a website in the HighLevel platform, then sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and relax as I go through the process of building the website. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to go to brandswatchstudio.com because I don't want to just build any website. I want to build a lead converting website, and I want to build something that is designed for people that visit the website to take the next step. And so copywriting is also a very important thing. So we're kind of looking at structure, we're looking at strategy, we're looking at design, all those things. And inside of Brand Swatch Studio, you can get pieces of each item that you need to build a website. So that is what I'm going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the blank slate website system, and I am going to use this. Now, obviously, I have a copy of this inside of my HighLevel account, and so I'll be using this. I'm kind of showing the ingredients that I'm going to be using to build this homepage of this website. So I'm going to need a blank slate website system because it's already designed for conversion. It's got 7 pages, but just to keep the video kind of timely, we're just going to do the homepage. And then right down here, let's see, I am also wanting to go to the brand graphics kits and have a bunch of, different graphic kits to choose from. But I really felt like, I wanted to create something with Golden Hour. So I'm going to come over here to Golden Hour. This is kind of like a neutral palette. And so I am going to use this one. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, so these are the ingredients. So basically the blank slate website and then the graphics kit, because it has everything already inside it. It's kind of like HelloFresh. You just buy the ingredients and then you kind of cook the meal at home. It's sort of like that. All right. So I'm going to go to the back end of my HighLevel account, and I already have the blank slate over here. And I already have another website that I already built with it. But obviously, since I am the creator of this, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to click on clone. And I am going to call this Golden Hour from blank slate working demo. And then when I'm ready, I'll turn this into like a template that I put into my store. So I'm going to click on confirm. I only want to copy this into my Brand Swatch Studio sub account. I have 3 sub accounts. I'm on the starter plan, and so I have 2 sub accounts already filled. If you don't know what that is, leave me questions in the comment section below and I'll be happy to answer them. It took me a little bit to really navigate through HighLevel and really understand how it works. So, but if you have any questions, just let me know below. Okay. So I just want to copy this template into my existing account. So I'm going to click on confirm, and it's going to start duplicating the website so that I have a clean blank slate website to work from. And so you'll see that the little thing is thinking, and it's going to take a few minutes. So I'm going to pause the video and then refresh it real quick because I like to give it a couple of minutes, because what it's doing is it's duplicating the whole website. And then what I'll do is I will refresh it, and then all 7 pages will be there. So I'll be right back. All right. So I gave it a couple of minutes and then I hit refresh. And now we can see that all 7 pages are here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on it so that I have a clean, fresh slate to start with. So basically, the blank slate website template is already designed for conversion. And all I'm going to do is grab one of the already done for you colored brand graphics kit and kind of apply it, sort of like a paint by numbers website. So I'm going to work on the home page. So we're going to click on edit. And I'm also going to, actually, I need to upload all the graphics from my brand graphics kit. So let's do that first. All right. So when you download the brand graphics kit, there's a little booklet here, and it has the actual brand swatch. And so it kind of like establishes the look of your brand so that everything is really nice and cohesive throughout everything that you create, like your website, your funnels, your lead magnets, whatever it is that you're creating for your brand. So this is kind of like the centerpiece of how everything comes together. And then there's a sample website here. So we're kind of going to get inspiration from the website inspiration that's included in the booklet. And there's some bonus resources here as well, so that if you are building a business or you're refreshing your brand, you have everything you need. And then all you have to do is apply your brand graphics kit to all these extra Canva assets. But here is what I want to do. I'm going to go to the backgrounds because we already have the included backgrounds, and I want to download all my backgrounds so that I have already the design like almost like pre-done. And then I'm going to fill it in. And then I'm also going to download the icons, elements, and the logo. So we have a complete project. Okay. So I'm going to click on open in Canva, and it's going to open up, and I'm going to edit the template, and I am working in my own account. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually grab a working copy because this is a live link, but just so you can see what's inside here before we get started. So basically, these are all the backgrounds, and they're all based on inspiration from the brand swatch that have already been added into here. And so what I want to do, see, this is a live link. So I'm going to go into my account, and I'm going to duplicate this and use a working copy instead of a live link, because this is actually inside of a product. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so I already made it into a working copy. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to download all these backgrounds. So I'm going to click on download, and then I'm going to click on PNG, and I want to download all of them. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to download all of them. You can save them to your downloads folder, or you can create a folder in Google Drive, wherever it is you want to do that. For right now, I'm just going to put it in my downloads folder. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to GHL. I'm going to actually go back, because what I want to do is I want to already add all the images into the media storage. So I'm going to click on media storage, and I'm actually going to create a new folder so that all those images are nice and organized inside its own folder. So I'm going to call it Golden Hour Brand Elements. Okay, so now it's in there. And so I'm going to double click here. And so now they're isolated into their own folder. And I'm going to drag and drop all those backgrounds into the media storage. So let me open up another window so I can do that real quick. All right, so basically I have all my backgrounds here. So I'm going to highlight all of them. Let me show you how I do that. I highlight all of them, and then I'm just going to drag them into here. And all of them are going to upload into the media storage. Okay, awesome. So now I have all my backgrounds. I have like all the stuff that I'm going to be working with, all my ingredients. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, and I am also going to download the icon sets. Actually, I want to switch the logo. I want to actually, what's a working copy? So let's go ahead and just do the logo while we're at it real quick. So let's prepare everything so we have everything nice and neat. So when we're ready to build the website, boom, 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 we can knock it out. Okay, so let's go back. All right, so I'm going to open up the icons, elements, and logo now. And I'm going to click open in Canva. Okay, and then inside each brand graphics kit, there's like a photography muse. So It's to give you inspiration. So if you don't know how to dress for your personal branded website, this gives you some ideas. So you could wear like a nice silk top like this with pants like this, or jeans, something that matches the overall brand swatch color palette. So that's why she's in here. And it also gives me the ability to build sample websites that while they find their future owners. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn this into a working copy. And but we're just going to go ahead and open up. And you'll see this is a live link because it's inside my account. So I'm going to go out and get out of here and, make a copy and turn it into a working copy. So I'll be right back. All right. So before I download all the icon sets, what I want to do is I want to edit the logo. And that way we have something to start with. So if you already have like your own name logo, you can use that. If you don't have one, that's why the brand kit already includes one, just in case you want to change it out. So we're just going to call her Jennifer. And we'll just make it something kind of generic, Jones. Okay. So boom, we already have a nice little logo. That's it. So now we are ready to download this. We're going to have to do a little bit of work to actually make them ready. Just very small amount of work. But we're going to click on share and we're going to click on download. And you need to have a Canva Pro account because you need to do a transparent background. So that will make sure that once we crop them, we can add them anywhere on top of any background, any color. So they'll always work. Okay. And so I want to download all of them. And again, we're going to just download them into our download folder. And then I'm going to open them up really quickly. There's a couple of them that we need to crop, like this one. This is a divider. And so if you put the divider in there without cropping it, it's just going to take up too much space. It's not going to look right. And so we're going to crop that real quick. And we're also going to crop this one because it's going to need cropping. And then we're going to crop the logo. Everything else is pretty good to go. It fits in, well, let me see. I might crop her a little bit too. But I'll go ahead and do that real quickly. I'll show you one and then I'll do the rest off screen so we can get back to the website template. So I'll be right back. All right. So I've downloaded all the icons. So I'm just going to show you a couple of them, how to crop them. So I'm going to double click on this one. This is a divider. You see how there's a lot of space around it. You might not be able to see it really because it's gray in the background. But what we want to do is we want to crop it so that we're as flush to the graphic as possible so that once we put it in the template, it's going to fit beautifully. So I have a Mac, and so just by doing this, like I can just use the preview, which you can't see on my screen right now. But if you have a Mac, you know what I'm talking about. You just go to tools and you go to crop, and then boom, it crops it into that size. If you don't have a Mac, then you can search the internet for a free cropping tool and just upload the image to a free cropping tool and then just crop it. Okay. So if you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments. But by the way, when you get one of the brand swatch graphic kits or the any template or any blank slate done for you templates inside of Brand Swatch Studio, you also get access to a training portal where I have like little mini tutorials and I walk you through the whole process. So I get a little bit deeper into detail there. So just so you know that there's training inside when you get one of these kits as well. Okay. Okay. So that is cropped. And now you see how the size changed? It's no longer that big square. Now it's this little thin line. That's because we cropped it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with this one. And we're just preparing. This is too big. So let me Okay, there we go. That way it fits in the window so you can see what I'm doing. So actually, that's not what I want to do. Okay, so here we go. And I'm going to go to tools. I'm going to go crop. So basically, we're just getting organized. We're getting all the ingredients together. So by the time we go to the website, we can knock things out relatively quickly. So this is important work because we want to make sure that everything looks good. Now, I would have adjusted the Jennifer Jones just a little bit. We can go back and do that another time, but we're just going to go ahead and use what we have right now. Okay? So let's see, what else do I want to crop? And then I want to crop this one. So let me make it a little bit smaller so you can see what I'm doing on the screen. And then I just want to make sure that she is inside and that there is, you know, as little space around her, because then it's going to be so much easier to put it on a Facebook cover, on a lead magnet, on a booklet, wherever you want your image. It's going to be so much easier when we make sure that everything is cropped nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and boom, just crop that. And we are good to go. So then now we have all our elements. So we're going to go back to GHL and we're going to upload this into the media storage under Golden Hour. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so here we are back in the media folder, and I'm just going to highlight all of these and we're just going to drop them in there. Okay, they're going to all upload, and now we are ready. Now we have everything that we need to work with our project so that we can build out this Golden Hour branded website. So with that being said, let's go back into the builder and let's start actually building it out. Now, the first thing we're going to do before we go back into the website is we're going to go to marketing, and I want to create a brand board for Golden Hour so that I have my color palette readily available. So I'm going to click on add a design kit. And I'm going to start from scratch. How cool is this that they have this? This is so, so cool. So I'm going to choose this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the colors real quick. So I'm just going to click on the little pencil. And we're going to come over here. And I'm going to insert the logo here. And I don't have a second logo, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Then I'm going to come to the color palette. And we're going to add our colors from our brand kit. So bringing back our little brand graphics kit, and we want to add our colors over here. So let me open this up in another window because anytime I click on it, it's going to disappear. So I'm going to go ahead and put in those colors. So let's go ahead here, and then we're just going to type in the hex code for this beautiful, it's kind of like a brownish, like a wheat color. So it's D89A3C. So that's color number 1. And this is like, we'll call it wheat color. And then the next one is going to be this beautiful warm peach. So we're going to go ahead and add that in there. That's EFA 568. This is the part that a lot of people don't really see when you're building a website, right? Because it's all this branding prep work too. You don't just build a website just like willy-nilly. You have to have an idea and intention of how you want your website to look, and then have all those things put together before you actually build out the website. It's kind of like designing a home where you have to have like your color swatches. You have to know what kind of paint you want to paint the walls and all that stuff. So let's say C8613A. And this is the warm terracotta. And then we have our light neutral color, which is this beautiful like bone color. So it's F2E. 66. Boom. Okay. All right. So, our typography, it's actually Playfair Display. And so font 1 is going to be Playfair Display. And then the secondary, we're going to just, yeah, we'll leave it at, let me see. Now, actually, let's do enter. All right. So, boom, we're going to save this board. Oh, we're going to name it Golden Hour. All right. Cool beans. So now we have our colors. So when we're ready to design, everything is already there. All right. So now let's go back to sites and go to websites. And let's go to the Golden Hour from the blank slate working demo. And now we are going to actually start. Now, if you look at the brand graphics kit, there is a website inspiration. So we're going to go by the website inspiration. And keep in mind that everything is built to go together. And then the cool thing about these blank slate templates is you can use the actual black and white. And you see how some have like a light color here, and then some have this dark color, and then there's texture here. Those are just cues to get you going. You can build this website however you want, but it gives you like guidelines. So if you're kind of new to web design, or if you're like a beginner, or if you're a DIY type of person and you're building this website on your own for your business, then you can kind of follow along with what's already here. And then like in here, you can put in a textured background, and in here you can put like a darker color for your brand. And so everything's kind of already put there together, but then you have the freedom to use your creativity and your taste to put it together, knowing that it's all going to look like, you know, one beautiful website, because it's all stems from the same brand swatch, same color kit, all that stuff. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's start with the navigation menu. And the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to select the background color, and we are going to use the bone color. So let's go ahead and bring in, I should be able to see the brand kit. All right, so it's showing my default colors I'm noticing, and we're building this kind of like real time. So let's go back. I haven't done anything, so let's go back. And I am going to go back to the marketing, and temporarily I'm going to make that the default. So let's go to brand boards, and let's go to the golden hour right now, and we're going to set it as the default. Okay. And let's see if that brings up the color palette now. Okay. I have to go back and change it later so that everything matches my website design. But let's go back to sites. And let's go back to websites. Let's go back to golden hour and the home page. And let's see now if it populates there. So I'm just showing you in real time. That way, if this happens to you, you can just go back and change that. So let's change the background color. Oh yeah, and that's it. So that's what you got to do. You got to set them as a default. But make sure that if you're working on a different project, or if you're not working on, if you're working on something else, if you're not using your own brand colors like me, I'm doing different projects inside of my account, make sure to swap them back, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this color. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop our logo in here. So we're going to double click here and we're going to put in our logo, okay? And then I'm going to come to the navigation menu, and we're going to go to styles, and we're going to make that the same color. So the background is going to be the same color. All right. And then we're going to maybe use that peach as the highlight. So, and this is where you get to kind of just use your own creativity. Okay. So, the hover background, let's make it this beautiful peach, or you can make it the gold. So peach or gold? I think I'm gonna actually go with the gold. Okay. All right. And then, so that's good. So then the next thing I do is I'm going to do the call to action button. And so we're going to go to general. And for that, I want to use the terracotta because it's the most bold color. And I'm going to use anywhere there's a CTA, a call to action, we're going to use that color. So let's go ahead and use the terracotta color. Boom. And that looks good. Okay. So now here, I'm going to change this into the terracotta color. So what I want to do, what I want to do is I want to use the boldest color. So that's what I'm going to use for all the eyebrow text. And I want to make sure that this fits. So let's go ahead and delete a space there. And now we are going to, we're not going to do the copy in this video because it would be a really, really long video. If you want to see a part 2 with the copywriting, let me know. Leave it in the comment section below. And we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in the hero section. So we're going to click over here. You see how it's green? This is where you're able to control the section. Okay, so I'm going to click over here and we want to change that into an image. So I am going to use one of the hero images in here. Now, obviously, we are using mock-ups to create this website. You'd want to take photos in an area in your home or an office or something that matches the vibe and the color scheme of this brand swatch. So we're using this because this is already included inside of the kit. But obviously you're going to want to choose something that works more for your brand. Okay. All right. So now what I want to do is I'm going to bring in the girl. I'm going to bring in the hero image. Okay. And then we're going to bring her here. Okay. So obviously she's way too big. So we need to make it smaller. So I'm going to start by making her like 400 and it's still way too big. So I'm going to put 300. We want to make sure she's above the fold. So that's going to be fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do is there's way too much padding underneath her. So we need to reduce some of that. Okay, so we're going to reduce the margin. We're going to bring this up so that now she is flush with that section. Okay, now what I'm seeing is this background color is slightly off from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a little bit more transparency so that it looks a little bit more seamless. So I'm going to come to this color and you're going to see that I am going to actually add it. I'm going to add the color. That way I can edit it. So I'm going to add this color and it gives you a dropper. Okay. So you can click on this dropper and it'll let you select any color. So what I want to do is I'm going to click on this color. Boom. Okay. And I'm going to click save. And now this color will be the exact color of this background. And again, this might not happen when you add your images because you might have a completely different background photo. All right. So I want to go back here and we're going to change the color of that as well. Okay. So we just added that to our palette. So now it should all blend in. Okay, so now I like that look where everything is starting to blend together. Okay, and then we have like a parallax effect on it. So it looks really cool. And then I might actually add like a glass effect so that when we scroll, you're going to see how this turns into like semi-transparent. So it looks like an actual glass. So, okay, so let's keep going. All right, well, why don't we see what we have so far? Let's click on save. And let's click on the little eyeball and see what we have so far. And so far, it's looking pretty nice. What do you think? Okay, so now we're going to, again, make our CTA button. We're going to make it the same terracotta. We're going to go to General, and we're going to change it to the terracotta. Okay, now over here, and you can change these buttons. You might have a lead magnet. You might have a coaching program. You might have something, you know, a different type of offer, but we're just going to go ahead and you can fill those in later. We're going to go ahead and just edit these. So we're going to change the color of the font to this color. And then we're going to need to go to styles so we can change the border color. Okay, so this border style here, it's boom, now it's the same terracotta color. Okay, so now it's starting to come together. All right. Okay, so the next section, we're going to continue on with the same kind of color scheme. So we're going to click on over here. Actually, there is one little thing here that I noticed. So we can do a couple of things. We can keep the line over here. There is a divider, or we can use our image. So for here, I'm just going to use one of these colors, maybe this one, or maybe even the gold, so that there is a little dividing line there. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to continue down to the green section. Remember, when you are in the green section, when you see this as green, you are in the actual section. And the reason you see this overlapping a little bit is because, remember, I had to raise it just a little bit so that she would be covered, right? So that she looks like she's standing behind this panel over here, okay? All right, so we're going to change the background color to the same color. Okay, and it's all going to start blending in together. All right, and now we're going to start using our really cool icon sets. So let's choose an icon. So we're going to click on the exclamation, which is basically a placeholder. And I'm going to select an icon from here. And let's go with like this cool sunburst. Okay, and that looks really cool. So now, remember, all the eyebrow text is this little kind of like smaller text that's above a headline. We're going to use the terracotta. Okay, so that everything starts to blend in. Now here is where we're going to use our vertical dividing line. So I'm going to swap that out. I'm clicking on it, clicking on image, and we're going to use the vertical divider. So where is it? Here it is. Okay. And then boom, we're going to use that. All right. And then over here, we're going to change the icon colors, and you're going to start seeing how everything starts to look, you know, put together. Okay. So far, so good. So now is where we're going to introduce a little bit of like pizzazz, a little color in here. So here's where I want to break it up a little bit and go dark. Now, inside of the brand kit are multiple backgrounds. So you don't have to use every single background that comes in the kit. You can use some of those backgrounds for other things in your brand, like your Instagram images or your lead magnets or your business cards, etc. And knowing that everything is going to look put together. So we can do a couple of things. We could either use one of the background colors, right? One of the dark background colors. Or we can use one of the images. So I'm going to go with one of the images. So let's go ahead and double click here. And I'm going to go with this beautiful kind of like this terracotta leather background to give it a little bit of texture. And I put it in the wrong spot. So let's undo that. Click the undo button over here. And it's not removing it. So let me come over here and delete it from here. Okay, so let's make sure we're in the green. Let's make sure we're in the green section because we want to change the whole section. So let's click on image and let's try that again. Okay, and then boom. Now it's going to change all of it. And that's starting to look like really, really cool. Okay, so here we're going to leave this kind of like, we have so much color. So we're going to change, no. So over here, I might change the eyebrow text to that mustard color. And that looks pretty cool. Okay, so over here, you want to add your own photo. I'm just going to use her photo again, but obviously you want to take several photos, maybe like a photo sitting in your office, a photo outside. It just depends on your business. This is just a placeholder for you to add your own photo. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to add her again. And then obviously I have to make her very, very small. So we're going to go down to like 300 and probably even smaller. And remember here, it's basically designed to put a more square photo in there. And I have to make sure to reduce some of that padding over here so that she is so I'm going to go to the section itself and see if I reduce some of the padding there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to the section beneath it and bring it up a little bit. So that way it covers her legs. And then I'm going to adjust her just a little bit. So here it's minus 50. So let's go minus 60. Okay, now it's perfect. Okay, but ideally you'd want like a square photo in there. Okay, so you can have a picture of like you know, in your office or some sort of other type of scenery. So yeah. All right, so now I'm going to change the icons over here. Let's go to general and let's go to let's see if this looks good here. I'm going to use a little bit of a bigger icon. So maybe this leaf over here. Yeah, I like that better. So let's put a leaf on each one. And if you want to make them bigger, I'll show you how in just a second. So we can make them just a little bit bigger. This is 2 columns. But just keep in mind that it is going to affect the spacing of the sentence. But we can make it just a little bit bigger. Okay? All right, so let's click on save and let's see what it's looking like so far. Oh, one other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more space over here. Some of these things are organic. You know, so by the way, if you don't want to do this on your own, and you want just someone to do it for you, then you can go ahead and, you know, let us know and we can help you out with that. Just go to brandswatchstudio.com. Actually, I'm going to make her a little bit bigger and see if that helps with the spacing. Okay, perfect. Much better. Okay, so I'm going to click on save and we're going to take a look. All right, so far so good. This didn't save. It'll save when I hit publish. Oh, I think it undid it when I undid everything before. So let me go ahead and fix this real quick off screen, and I'll be right back. Okay, looks like when I was hitting the undo button, it was undoing that section specifically. So let's go ahead and check it out again. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is looking really good. I'm going to make this a little bit transparent towards the end so that we can make it look like a frosted glass. But so far, so good. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. All right. So the next section, we're going back to the light color. So make sure you're on green. Make sure you're on green. That means that you are within the section and you're changing the entire section. Very important. Okay. So then over here, what are we going to do? We're going to make it terracotta. Okay. All right. So now we want to change the colors of the borders for the little boxes here. So I'm going to change, I'm going to go to styles, okay? And we want to change the border color. So I am going to make those gold. Okay? Yeah, I think gold is going to be the perfect color. And you can make them the peach or the terracotta, whatever you want, and it's still going to look good because it's all from the same color palette. Okay? So this is like kind of like the eyebrow text too. So we want to make sure that everything is like the same color. So I'm just going to go ahead and change that to the terracotta as well. And I'm going to change that to the terracotta as well. And then we're going to change out the icons here. So we're going to make each one a little bit different. So let's go back to general and we'll make the first one the starburst. And we'll make this one clarify. That should be like maybe the diamond. And then build. We can, let's see, what represents build here? We can put the pretty little leaf. Okay. Okay. All right. So now the next section, it is, you see how it's textured? That means like you can use one of the cool textured fonts, okay? Now what I'm going to do is, I see that there's space over here. So let me go ahead and see what is up with the padding here. And I am going to make sure that this is flush to here. Okay. So now we'll correct this over here as well. Make it 0. Okay, great. All right, so now I am going to use one of our like textured backgrounds. So let's go to general, and I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like I want to use that beautiful, the sun, golden sun, what is it? The golden hour, actually, the golden hour background. So let's see what that looks like. Okay. Actually, I think I'm going to use that for another section. I'm going to use it for another section. I am going to use another color here, another background here. I think I'm going to use maybe this textured background here. No, that's not the one that I wanted. Hold on. There's another one that I have in here. Let's see. Oh, this is the one. So I'm not loving that. So I'm going to change it. So that's where you have room for some creative freedom. And then maybe what I'll do is I will use the same background from the hero section. Okay, that looks cool. All right. So that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, so over here, we're going to, again, we're going to repeat like the sunburst. Okay, and then over here, we're going to use the terracotta. And then again, here we can use her photo. These are just placeholders, my friend. You can add your own photos. So let's go ahead and just
have her in there so that it matches. Okay, and then we're going to make her like 300. Okay, and I'm going to make her smaller than that. 250. Okay, good. So then let's see if we adjust some of her padding. And that's perfect. Okay, great. Okay, so next one. We're going to just go with the color that we've been using. And let's make sure, oh, I put it in the border. So let's undo that. Let me go back to general. Make sure we're clicking on the green so that we're inside that section, and we're going to turn it into light. Okay, this is going to be an easy one. We're going to just keep on going with the starburst. And again, you can play around. Maybe you want to use the diamond. Maybe you want the diamond to be your main thing. Maybe you want the starburst to be your main icon. It's that's where you have room for your own creativity.
And we're going to go ahead and put that into terracotta. And we're going to make this terracotta as well. Okay, we're going to save and let's see what we have so far. All right. What do you think? It's looking really good, right? Okay, so we have a few more sections to finish up. So let's go ahead and finish that up. All right, so one thing I'm noticing is that these are a little bit off of alignment. So this will be a teaching moment as far as understanding how the builder works. And right over here, you see that these are they're like rows that you can actually drop inside of a row. You see this? How this is blue. So when it's blue, it's gonna control like only the square and everything in it. When it's green, you're actually controlling the section. But these are like rows within a row. And so when they're lavender like this, you see it has like these little dots over here. That means that you can actually stretch them. So I'm going to stretch this out just so that it's more in alignment with the one above it. Okay, so now we are good. Okay, and you can change this if you want. Like if you're like, well, you know, this was a starburst, I want this one to be something else. We could totally do that. Let's do that real quick. So we can, let's change this into this really cute rainbow thing. Okay, so however you want to do that, okay? Alrighty, now I think I'm going to introduce that beautiful sunset because we have a lot more space here because this is where the testimonials are. So let's go ahead and bring in that beautiful golden hour, kind of like sunrise, I guess, or sunset. Oh, yeah. That looks gorgeous. That looks beautiful. Love, love, love that. Okay, so now we're going to change this into the terracotta. That looks really nice. I am loving that. Okay, and then we're going to come down here and we are going to change this to the light color. All right, and then again, let's change that eyebrow text. And we're going to change the icons to the terracotta. And again, we're going to change the vertical divider. So let's change out that image. And we're going to select this for that image. Okay, and there's a wee little gap here. That just means that we have to bring them a little bit closer together. So go to styles and you'll see this is at 2. Let's just make sure that it's at 0 so that they're flush against each other. Okay. And then down here, I think I'm going to go with that leather terracotta again. So let's go ahead and, because this is darker, so I want a little bit of like darkness to kind of like anchor the whole design. So let's go ahead and click on image, and we're going to put in that dark color. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, so then over here, we are going to maybe put that starburst again. And again, there's several icons that you can choose from. So you don't have to use the exact one that I use. You can if you want to, but that's why there's several in there, so that if you want, you know, if you like the diamond and you want that to be the dominant one, or if you like the whichever one, you can make it your own. So I'm going to leave that like that. And then we're going to change this to terracotta. And it's going to be like monochromatic, but it's going to look cool. Okay? And then we're going to repeat this over here. And we're going to make it the light color. Okay? And we're going to change this to the logo. And we're going to change the menu, let's see, to that color. The background color is also going to be this color. And we're going to change the hover to the same gold. Okay. And we are done. So let's take a look at what we've got. So let's click on save. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments right below. And here we go. Okay. Okay. And again, you can use different pictures, different poses. Oh yeah, I love that golden, the sun, or the golden hour sun. It just looks so pretty. All right. And we are done. We are done with that home page. And it looks beautiful. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you this cool little, we're going to add a little something something to the menu. And I love this effect because it reminds me of the AI builders and using that frosted glass effect. So we're going to kind of use a frosted glass effect here as well. So I'm going to go to General. And I'm going to go to the background color. And you see over here, it has a little pencil. So right over here, I can actually change the transparency just a little bit, okay, to around maybe 77%. We're going to click on save. But we have to do it over here too. So we have to make this transparent. Otherwise, as you scroll, you're going to be able to see the color as well. So we're going to remove the color here. Okay, so the background color here, we're going to remove it. Now, you don't have to do this. This is just like this extra little special effect, okay? So, boom, I'm taking that out. And then there's a little border under here, right? There's a little solid border. You see here it says 1. It's 0, 0, 0. But on the bottom, there's a little border. So I'm going to turn that into the gold. Okay. Now let's click on save. And so you'll see that now has this cool, like just a different effect on the menu. So you see now there's like this little line, right? And now you'll see that it's a little bit transparent as you scroll. Right? It looks really, really pretty. It just gives it that extra, it's like an elegant touch. So, yeah, that is the home page. So obviously it took a minute because we had to get some things ready and I'm obviously explaining everything. But if you grab one of the brand kits and you start to put all these things together, you can create a beautiful site. So you'll see that this turned into light, which is fine with me actually. I kind of like it. But when you so another thing we could do is, you know how I just made that transparent, the better thing to do is to duplicate the color or make it just a little bit just maybe one little pixel different, and then make it more transparent because it's going to affect anything that's transparent. But actually, I really like this look. It looks beautiful. So I'm going to leave it like that. It might be a happy accident. It gives it more like depth. Here, it doesn't look good. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix it. Let's go fix it together. We're already an hour in, so let's just get this done correctly, okay? So let's go back here to the background, to the main background. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another color here, okay? So we're going to add the color, and remember, we're going to go to our little pencil. That way it allows us to, it's not a pencil, it's a dropper. And we can grab the color from here. So we'll grab this color and click on save, okay? And so I'm going to come back here and I'm going to change this color. Actually, I'm going to leave this one here because I do like it here, but it's not going to work over here. It's not going to work here. So we're going to come over here and then we're going to change it over here to this color. Okay, so now that works. Okay, it's a quick, easy fix. Here, you can either leave it. You see how it's a little bit, because we want to cover her so you can't see that it's a cut off photo. So you can change it to this color if you want. Or if you like the transparent look, you can leave it there. Okay, but it is going to affect any section that has that color. So make a little mental note of that. Okay. Other than that, I think it looks great. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay. So can you imagine your website, your picture on this website? So what this does is, see, now when we go to the, like if we do another video and we actually change the copy here, which by the way, included in every single blank slate template is the Build Anywhere blueprint. And at the end of the Build Anywhere blueprint, there is a master copywriting prompt that will adjust the copy throughout the entire website when you input your niche and some of the information that it's going to collect from you. So maybe we'll do that in video 2. If you're still with me, if you're watching this whole thing, maybe we'll do that in the second video. Okay. So, yep, that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to grab a brand kit, just go to brandswatchstudio.com. If you don't know where to start or you want to message me, just leave me a comment right below or visit my website over at brandswatchstudio.com. So this has been Barbie Figueroa. Thank you so much for spending all this time with me. I hope that you learned something. I hope you learned a little bit more about how to use the HighLevel website builder. And again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section right below. So with that being said, make sure to check out the playlist. I'll probably be doing more of these with other brand swatches. If you want to follow along, maybe you got a brand kit and you're like, I want to see how Barbie does this, and you want to follow along, then make sure to subscribe and check out those playlists. So with that being said, everything that I used inside of this build out will be in the description box right below. If you want to grab the brand kit or the blank slate or sign up for a HighLevel account, you can do all those things by clicking on the description box right below this video. So hopefully you enjoyed this process, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. So with that being said, this has been Barbie Figueroa. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on another video. Bye for now.